Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you guys are. Guys, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, share the video as always, guys. So, guys, yesterday we had a fight between Liam Smith and Chris Eubank Jr. Liam Smith absolutely crushed Eubank Jr. in a very, very bizarre and weird fight. Eubank came out first couple of rounds, was like posturing and jabbing. His jabs were pretty crisp. But I've always said I feel like Chris Eubank's a very disjointed fighter. I don't understand. Sometimes I don't really know what I'm gonna get with Eubank. You don't know what you're gonna get. He sometimes comes out and fights in a way you're like, what is he doing? There's no real pattern to his fighting. I mean, he's just like a disjointed fighter. And Liam Smith is the polar opposite. You always know what you're going to get. Yeah, he might not be an elite fighter. He might not be somebody that you would say that's the best in his division or the top 2 or 3. But, you know what you're going to get. He's fundamentally sound. He comes and gives it. He's a warrior. And you know what? He totally ruined Eubank in there. He absolutely wiped him out. Hit him with a good shot. Eubank slumped in his corner. His legs were all over the place. Got up and he was like all over the place. I mean, I've never seen Eubank like that before. I've never ever seen Eubank hurt like that badly in a fight. I mean, he was totally gone. And although he obviously got caught with some big shots. I mean, Eubank's been caught with big shots before, and he's always taken them pretty well. So I have to say that the weight cut may have been an issue for him. Making 160 at 33 might be a stretch at this point, because your punch resistance doesn't just diminish like that. You know, when your punch resistance diminishes and the way he reacted, the way his legs went, and the way he was fighting as well, he was almost worried about getting hit. And I saw that in the Liam Williams fight, that he was scared of getting hit. Hence why he's trying to fight at range where he's looking very poor. I mean, Chris Eubank's a fighter that needs to let his hands go. He's got fast hands and he needs to let his hands go. He's never had great footwork. But I mean, that was brutal. That was emphatic and brutal by Smith. I mean, Smith took him apart in that 4th round. And in terms of Chris Eubank, I don't know where he goes from here. Because for me, like, I'm well and truly off the hype train. You know what? They've actually got me, fooled me 3 times now. And look, when he first came through and his dad was saying all those things about Chris Eubank, I thought Chris Eubank's going to do a real deal. I did. I looked at him. I thought, this guy's got fast hands. He's got a chin. He's blowing people away. I mean, then he fought Billy Joe Saunders and I was like, he's got no footwork. He's terrible. I mean, he's got no footwork. If he doesn't improve that, he's gonna be found out at the top level. Then, you know what, he got back on it and he started looking good again. And you're like, he's fighting these guys and beating these guys. I'm like, well, yeah, he had a lot of good wins. I believe he beat Abraham, and he had 1 loss. And you thought, you know what, he's got it back. He's starting to look good again. Then he fought George Groves, and I was like, you know what, he's going to destroy Groves. Groves isn't got the greatest chin. Eubank's got so much speed. He's going to outwork Groves. And Groves dominated him. Groves totally dominated him, outclassed him. Beat him with a jab, really. Just totally made Eubank look very poor. And then I got off the hype train. And I was like, nah, this guy is not that good at all. I mean, he's totally been exposed. Then after that, I'm not going to say I will jumped on the hype train again, because I knew that Eubank isn't that guy. And I never thought he'd beat any of the top guys after that. But, I still thought Eubank is a top fight. I mean, I still thought he could hang it with the guys. And I think with the right fight, against the right fight, he could win a world title. And then we have this fight. And I thought he was going to beat Smith. I thought he was going to go in there. I thought he was going to win a points decision. I thought he'll have some tough moments. But I did say that I won't be surprised if Smith pulls it off on points, just because Eubank is such a disjointed fighter that you wouldn't be surprised if Smith wins a points decision. But yeah, that was a humiliating defeat and embarrassing. I mean, I know I talked about the weight cut, which I think will definitely. I mean, Smith's not a big puncher at 154. He's not a big puncher. I mean, he's never hurt and knocked anyone out of any note. I mean, he beat Jesse Vargas, but Vargas was a fighter past his best, and he was really a blown up like welterweight. And even Vargas didn't get knocked out like that. Vargas took a lot of shots from Liam Smith and his chin held up. And Eubank's a big 160. So how the hell is he getting blown away and wiped out and getting made to have jelly legs from Liam Smith? It just doesn't add up to me and make sense. So something tells me that's the weight cut had some kind of, because Liam Smith's not a big puncher. He's never been a guy that hits you with one shot and wipes you out. And Eubank was all over the place. So to me, I'm just confused. I honestly am confused. I'm seriously confused to how Liam Smith was just wiped, like you just like wiped him out. I mean, yeah, I'm a little bit startled, to be honest. I'm a little bit confused to how Smith was just able to wipe him out like that. And Eubank, the way he reacted, the way his body reacted, yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah, I was shocked. I was shocked because Eubank, I didn't think that Liam Smith, I think probably all of us would predict that Liam Smith could win on points, but we wouldn't predict that Liam Smith could stop him. And that was what was really confusing for, I mean, yeah, and the way his body reacted, yeah, that for me, that's a damaging defeat. That's a damaging defeat for Eubank, and probably a defeat that I don't think he can come back from, because I mean, getting spanked like that, for me, that's his all credibility completely tarnished and gone. And I always was one that, when people were criticizing Eubank, saying he's not this, he's not that good, he's not that, I always thought in the right fight that Eubank could win a world title. But I actually think, I don't know whether he can. I don't think he would have beaten Murata. I don't think Chris Eubank would have beaten Murata. I think it'd have to be a very poor world champion. I think it'd have to be. I think it'd have to be. I think he would have to be someone that's, like a Charles Martin type, somebody that's really poor, somebody that, like that's the only way he'd win a world title. Otherwise, I don't think he's cut to win a world title at all. And to be honest, when I look back at his career, I think he was very lucky against Korobov. I think Korobov might have beat him in that fight. I think Korobov would have outboxed him. And I think he was very lucky that Korobov's shoulder went, and that resulted in him winning. Yeah, I'm totally off Eubank now. I'm totally off Eubank. Smith, people talking about him fighting Golovkin. I don't want to see him fight Golovkin. I think he could get hurt in that fight. And Carl Froch said it. Carl Froch said, I think if he fights Golovkin probably knock him out because the power is the last thing to go. I think Smith probably should be looking for some money fights. I think if the Eubank fight happens, which I don't know whether there'll be any interest or any demand behind that fight, I think that's probably a fight that maybe, he could explore. Again, just because I think financially he'll get paid well. Kell Brook is a fight which I think these are fights that I think Liam Smith would be favourite to win, and there'd be big money fights. Is Liam Smith really is Liam Smith's motivation to go fight for another world title, or his motivation for money? I think at this point he's won a world title. He's not ever going to be, although he might want to prove himself, he's never going to be considered an elite fighter of the division at 154 or 160. Because against the top guys, I think we all would agree, if he was to fight Charlo, Golovkin, or Jamel at 154, or any of the top guys, top 4 or 5 guys, he probably gets beat. So for me, Liam Smith should probably look for the biggest money fights. And here's the thing, if he fights Kell Brook, chances are he beats Kell Brook. And that would result in him beating somebody else with a big name. He'd get a lot of publicity, and he'd also become a big, huge name, because he'd have back-to-back big fights. And he'd also have a big, healthy bank account, which that's what they're looking for. Because I don't think Liam Smith should go in against like a Charlo or a Golovkin and end up getting beat. Yeah, obviously, if he wins those fights, then yeah, the respect on his name and the credibility he will gain from that is massive. But we've got to be realistic. I don't think he wins those fights. And Liam Smith is 34. I think he should be looking for the biggest money fights. And would a fight with Golovkin, maybe if he fights Golovkin at Anfield, maybe they could make huge money. But I'm not so sure. I think the fight with Kell Brook, and that would probably fill out Anfield. I think that fills out Anfield. And most importantly, he won't get hurt, I don't think, in that fight. I think it's a fight that he comfortably wins against Kell Brook, because I think Brook's shot. And I think he'll beat Brook. I think he beat Chris Eubank again. I think he'd beat Chris Eubank. But yeah, that's where I stand. I don't really want to see Smith fight Golovkin because I'd rather see Golovkin fight Charlo because I actually think Golovkin could beat Charlo. So I think that is a fight that I want to see rather than Smith, which a fight which I'm not so sure that he wins. So yeah, let me know your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Love to know your opinion, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.